a massive season coming up for two young, talented guards for the San Antonio Spurs. We break down here their future for the season and their future with the San Antonio Spurs here on Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. And we're now on the road to 2K. We appreciate all of the first 1,000 plus subscribers that we have gotten, but we're on the road to 2,000. We are hoping to maybe even get it before the season starts. We'll see. Long shot, but we'll try to see if we can get it. But make sure you hit that subscribe button. Take a spur of the moment to get every Spurs moment moving forward. And let's grow this channel. Let's grow this thing and get ready for the NBA season. But the two guards we're talking about here, Malaki Branham and Blake Wesley, are approaching a crucial crossroad. And yes, they are. The answers will come soon. We are going to see these answers unfold on the basketball floor. It is now or never for these two young guards. If they want to remain a part of the Wemby era, they will have to prove it. But would they want that is the question that should be asked. No doubt they'll improve their game. Their desire to build a successful NBA career is obvious, but you have to wonder what their hopes, the heights of their career will be. You've got to think, with Branham and with Wesley, they're both in a position where there's just such a log jam of talent at the guard position for the San Antonio Spurs. You've got Stephon Castle, who you just drafted. You have Tre Jones. You've got Chris Paul. You've got Devin Vassell. And then you've got players who are even on the back half of that, like Malaki Flynn, who they had brought in, he got a 50 in a game. So, like, things like that. There's so much guard depth and talent on this roster where these players and this season is going to be pivotal for a lot of people. You've got Tre Jones coming up on a contract year, plus these two here who are going to be working their way maybe elsewhere if this season doesn't go as planned, or they're going to be on this roster if they can develop into pieces that are going to fit around Victor Wembanyama. But with Stephon Castle on the team, Tre Jones, as I just said, there are not enough minutes to allocate them if they want a larger role. Now, this also requires the Spurs to re-sign Jones if he ends his last year of his deal, but he is too perfect for the Spurs to walk. I agree with that. I think everything that Tre Jones brings to the table, he's a capable and willing shooter. He is a capable playmaker. He is a good, tenacious defender, even though he is undersized, only at 6'1". Not really undersized, but he is on the smaller side of things, and he mimics a lot of what Chris Paul can do, and we're going to see what Chris Paul can really benefit with this first unit. And then that second unit is going to have remnants of Chris Paul, because Tre Jones is going to pick up a lot from CP3, as well as having his own game where he is a facilitator, pass first kind of guard, put up 10.6 assists last season in some starting stints, some off the bench, but we're going to see him develop and become a better version of himself. So it's going to be interesting to see who is able to stay on this roster, and really what it's going to do, it's going to come down to shooting. And first, we're going to talk about Blake Wesley here. He was 4 points, close to 3 assists last year. When you don't have Chris Paul and you're a young team, you can kind of play around with a bunch of different lineups and, okay, we're going to try this guy here, try this guy there. People are able to kind of try to make themselves into something. They don't always have to fit the confinements of a roster, but they can try to make themselves into their own player. And this is what Pop said about Wesley last season at the end of it. He's understand what is expected of a point guard at this level, and he's getting better at it. And as well, Year 3 is going to be big. I'm excited and I'm ready to get to work. As this first article has said, the enthusiasm is there. The want to be great is there. This is from Blake Wesley. On the other side of things, you've got Malaki Branham, who last year he was more effective shooting the ball. He shot almost 35% from 3, 43% from the floor, averaged 9 points a game. 38% from threes from the corner, and that is a very pivotal number there for him. And then moving forward here, you've got the San Antonio Spurs. Their first 3-round picks in 2022 was Sochan, Branham, and Wesley. They came in together. So these two kind of have a connection themselves because they are part of the same draft class. Sochan has emerged as a guy that, one, we're not depth. We don't have a lot of depth there at the forward position, so Sochan already is going to get the minutes there. That's fine. That's great. And 2, he has developed into something that you really want to build around. Not build around in the sense of like he is the piece you want to build around, but you want him in your long-term plans, I should say. You want him, Wemby, you have a guy like that. I've talked about what I think about him. We'll talk even more going forward. Aaron Gordon style of player is what I think that this guy should be for this roster. But set Jeremy Sochan aside, Malaki and Blake, these are 2 guys who haven't had the same level of success as Sochan has, but they both have a lot of promise, especially Branham, because he gives you the shooting aspect that you do miss a little bit with Blake Wesley. I mean, Blake Wesley wasn't a great shooter, but he also didn't have the volume. So over this year, we'll see if he improved on that three-point jump shot, because that three-pointer is going to make or break a lot of players on these Spurs rosters moving forward. With the Spurs wanting to build around Wemby, spacing the floor. Branham, with the fact that he can shoot with more volume, confidence this season, showed the improvement. Pop may go to him over Castle, Jones, and Wesley. None of them prolific shooters, no proficient shooters yet. So we'll see. Castle, that is someone who you're going to see. That's going to be one of the first things the Spurs really get with him. They're going to learn, okay, here's the pace of the game, here's the speed of the game, how can you affect the game? We know you're going to affect it defensively, that's natural, that is your calling card. Offensively, see how you're going to get to the paint, see how you can attack, learn how you're going to pick your spots, and then it's really going to be developing the three-point jump shot. As long as you can get to closely around 35%, you'll be okay. Tre Jones is a good enough and a capable shooter. Not great, but he's capable, and we'll see if he improves himself. But out of those 2, I honestly think Malaki is going to be the better chance to fit what the Spurs need in a dynamic. I think Blake Wesley actually has a chance to be a nice backup point guard in the league. He's got talent. He's got a little bit of burst to him. He's got a tenacity to his game, like a natural tenacity to his game that I think can translate on a lot of different teams. It's just the fact that this team has 25,000 guards, it feels like, that can just go rotate and go play quality minutes in the league. And of course, obviously, Chris Paul is not your long-term answer, so he is really going to be there to build and mold all of these guards. It's going to be who takes the reins and who takes opportunities and who takes the chance of playing with such a great point guard and with such a great legend of the game, such a cerebral mind of the game. And when you see if Tre Jones takes even another step and really solidifies himself as a guy like, we cannot let him go, that's great. But the Spurs have a luxury too, where if Tre Jones doesn't really take that next step, but both Blake and Malaki take that next step, they can let Tre Jones go because they already have 2 quality guys right there ready for him. And obviously Stephon Castle, we're just grooming him, getting him prepared. He's in a great situation to where he can be Rookie of the Year level, but still not even have to have the bulk of that level of responsibility on his shoulders, because he won't even be one of the 3 best players on the team on day 1. So that's the great thing with Stephon Castle, that he's going to be able to grow into being the all-star caliber player I believe he was going to be. Him along with Vassell and with Wemby, you have 3 players who are going to be at an all-star level plus in the next couple years if they develop properly. You already have 2 there. But with Malaki, with Blake, I think you've got 2 guys there who are going to have very interesting seasons. And the thing with this roster is there's so much youth and depth and hunger that this training camp, this preseason, you're going to see a push of all of this talent try to, okay, no, this is my minute, this is my spot, this is my spot. There's only so many minutes, and there's so many people who feel they can deserve those minutes. So they're going to fight, scratch, and claw to get there, and that's only going to make the players who actually do achieve that even better, because they know they're going to have to be in prime ready mode, 1, and 2, they know that Austin's got some talent. So if for some reason they're like, man, no, we're not doing well, all right, we'll bring you down to Austin. We'll bring up, say, Malaki Flynn. We'll bring up Blake Wesley. We'll bring up whomever else is going to be down on that Austin team and comparatively to the Spurs' actual roster. But That's the real great thing with the San Antonio Spurs. They're in a great spot, and you get in that great spot because you get an alien. You get an alien, and the alien brings all the other things with them. So, great draft process, great picks. They've got a great future ahead of them. It's going to be fun to see this year what Blake Wesley, what Malaki Flynn, but Malaki Branham for this purpose can do moving forward. But what do you guys think? Do you think that it's going to be Branham, or do you think it's going to be Wesley that can take more of those minutes? Or do you think neither one of them and we have a surprise coming up our hands? Or what do you guys think about the Spurs guard depth this season? Let me know in the comments. This has been Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you guys very soon.